In this video, we will learn about the electronic patient record screen, also referred to as the EPR screen. The electronic patient record screen gives a consultant access to all the patient information required when in clinic. This then saves time for having to then click into different screens to get different information. To access the electronic patient record screen, we click on the patient menu and then electronic patient record. This will then give us a screen to then select the patient we wish to view the electronic patient record screen for. All we need to do is to select our patient in the normal way. If you're unsure on how to do this, please refer to Helix Anytime, where there is a video on how to search for a patient. What I'll do now is I'll just search for my patient here. Okay, that's now taken us into the EPR screen for this patient. As you can see, there's several different sections for different information. I'll just explain the screen and how you can navigate between different tabs. The first screen you're taken to is the Summary tab. This gives you a brief summary of all the patient information. As you can see, we have a GP letter here and also any diagnoses that have been recorded for this patient. If you want to tailor this screen to show what you want it to show, you can use the filter options at the top here. For example, if you wanted to just show GP letters for this patient, you could click on the category tab on the little filter, then click GP. That will then filter out all the GP letters that have been sent to this patient. Also, if you want to customize a certain view that you will be using all the time, you also have a filter list at the top here. If you want to add a filter, all you need to do is click on the Setup tab and configure the information you want to add in here. This means you can just select the filter you want. This will then populate all the information you require at the time. Okay, I'll just click OK here. So, the Diagnosis tab at the top here, this will show you any current diagnoses the patients have had. You can add a diagnosis, you can amend current diagnoses, and you can also delete a diagnosis. All you need to do is click the Add button and fill out the information on screen. So I'm just going to add in a diagnosis here, just by typing in the diagnosis text. I'm going to select the crushing injury for a hip, and I'm just going to click OK. Then also you can add any comments with the diagnosis, and if you want to flag it as significant, this will then highlight the option in red to show that it's a significant diagnosis. As you can see on screen here, it's now highlighted in red. If we click on the Procedures tab, this is where we can then add an operation note. If we click on the Add option and then click Operation Note, this takes us into the operation note to then fill out any information we know. Okay, if we click OK on this. If we click on the History tab, this allows us to add any previous history for this patient that's come to you. This will be a diagnosis code. If we click on the Add option, we can then fill out the options on here. This is very similar to the Diagnosis tab that was just been shown. If we click on the Management tab, this allows us to add how we wish to manage a patient's care. If we click on the Add option, we can then add in a management code for reviewing clinic in 3 weeks, reviewing 6 months, etc. I was going to click reviewing clinic in 3 weeks. And if I click OK, I can then add any comments if I wish to, and then again I can also flag as significant. I'm just going to click OK now. This shows me how I'm now going to manage my patient. By clicking on the Medication tab, this allows us to add a prescription for a patient or view any previous prescriptions for patients that have been sent. If I click on the Add option, I can then add on some drugs for a prescription. So I'm just going to click Add here. I'm going to select my drug and click OK. I'm just going to fill out the quantities, the dose, etc. If I want to populate any notes or comments for the drug, I can pop that in here, and then if I click OK. If I then click OK to complete the prescription, that will then produce us a paper copy in Microsoft Word to then print out and give to the patient. It will also record a prescription in the patient's previous letters. We can also record any current or ongoing medications in this screen, and also if they have any allergies can be added in here. By clicking on the Images and Photos tab, This allows us to view any images that have been saved into the patient record, or we can also add photos. By adding photos, we can just click the load option over here and selecting where we want to load the patient photo from. I'm just going to click cancel. Clicking on the test results tab gives you lab results for a patient. You can get lab results from HCA, the doctor's laboratory and the London clinic. If you wish to start receiving lab results from these 3 sites, please contact our sales team who will be able to provide you with a quote to get this module. By clicking on the Notes tab, this allows us to add a note for a patient. We can add notes when we're in clinic, either typed, handwritten notes, and also voice files. If we click on the Add option, this allows us to add a note. As soon as we click into the Add Note option, it dates it and timestamps it for us. We then need to fill out a category. Also, this is a free type box, so you can fill out a separate category if you know of one. So we're just going to select a clinic note. We can also populate any comments, so this would be just general comments to say what the note's about. If we want to flag the note as significant, if we tick this, this will then highlight it in red in our summary screen. Also, clicking on the clinical tab, make sure that's ticked if it's a clinical note. If it's a non-clinical note, we just untick it. Then we simply either type our note in here, we can then either handwrite it, a scanned note or a voice note can also be scanned into here. If I then click OK to complete the note, as you can see, it's now added our note and highlighted it in red because we flagged it as significant. If I now return back to the summary screen, we can also see on the right hand side we have a preview for the letters on here and also diagnoses and any other procedures that have been added. Clicking the Add button is a shortcut to adding information into the various tabs that we've covered throughout this video. If I click on the Add button now, as you can see, we can add things like a patient note, we can add a prescription, we can add a diagnosis, and there's various other things that we can also do. For this example, I'm just going to click Add Note. This takes us straight into the patient note, which will allow us to start recording the patient note straight away. Click OK. And as you can see, it now returns us back to the electronic patient summary screen. Down the bottom of the screen, we have the patient tab. This will display any patient information, such as forename, address, their balance, and also if they're insured. If we click on the User Defined tab, this will show us any user defined fields that have been set up that are specific to your practice. If I click on the GP tab, this gives us our GP for the patient. Also, I can click on the Clinicians tab, which gives us access to any clinicians that are associated with this patient. I click OK. Clicking on the Visits tab allows us to see any appointments that have been previously booked for this patient or any future ones. We can also book a new appointment from this screen. If you wish to know further information on how to book an appointment, please refer to our Helix Anytime guide on the clinic list. If I click on the Theatre tab, this also shows us a history of the theatre for this patient. Clicking on the Correspondence tab will show you all the patient's previous letters. We can also do a new letter from this screen. If you wish to know further information on how to do a new letter, please refer to Helix Anytime on how to do a new letter. If I then click OK to come out of this screen, we can also access the electronic patient record screen by going to the Patient menu, Patient Details, selecting our patient in the normal way, and then clicking on the EPR tab at the top here. If I click OK, and click OK, we can also access the patient's electronic patient record by going to the clinic list, by clicking on Lists, then Clinic List. If we then select on our patient by left clicking once, it will then highlight the patient's name in a dark blue colour. If I then right click on that patient, we have the option to go into the electronic patient record. This is a good way of working when you're in clinic, as you will have a current list of all the patients that are coming in to see you, and you can click in and out of the relevant patient. I now click OK and click OK. We now have a new style EPR screen that can be used. To turn this on, we need to go to the Miscellaneous menu, then Preferences, and then EPR Preferences. We then need to click the New Style option and click OK. To see what the new EPR screen looks like, I'm just going to access a patient record. So if I click on Patient, Electronic Patient Record, I'm going to select my patient in the normal way. And as you can see, this is the new style EPR screen. It looks a lot different to the old style, but is now in a more modern view. To navigate your way around the new style EPR screen, as you can see on the left hand side, these are the various tabs that you would have in the old style. So if we click on Summary, Patient, Diagnosis, all the information is still there, it's just now viewed in a different way. And then to come out of the new style EPR screen, we just simply click OK. This now concludes the video on the electronic patient record screen.